Hey guys, Waterfowler41 here, and before we get into the installation video, just a huge shout out to Will over at the Wimya YouTube channel. Every so often with running a YouTube channel, you end up meeting some other folks that are running their own channels. Some are really cool dudes, and Will is no exception to that rule. Super cool dude, very helpful. I had some questions on some parts that he installed in his truck. He's got a TRX, and I wanted to install some of the similar parts on my truck. So he answered all the questions, gave me links, and really helped me through on this project. So a huge shout out to him. If you don't subscribe to his channel, definitely do it. I'll leave a link to his video up in the top corner here and down in the description of the video. But with that said, let's hop into the video and take a look at what we're installing today. All right, so you know I have the carbon fiber steering wheel from Zen Carbon Fiber, so now it's time to start converting everything else in the truck to this awesome, sick, glossy carbon fiber pattern. So we're going to talk about the radio today. So like I said, Will at the Wimya YouTube channel turned me on to a brand of product on eBay that allows you to install carbon fiber overlays in your truck. And they're not just the stickers like the R-Vinyl Experience, which is horrible. They're actually full-on little panels that are full real carbon fiber made to fit certain panels inside your truck. So their cup of tea or their expertise is the TRX, but a lot of those TRX parts actually do cross over into the regular Ram. So today we're going to be looking at the top console and then the air vents. So I went ahead and purchased two parts here because I wanted to see how the fitment was before I pulled the trigger on the rest of the parts. But if these work out well, there's a whole bunch of other parts that they actually sell. So they even sell the whole glove box cover. So this is all carbon fiber. If you have a limited, they have the, if you got the shifter down here like the GTs and the TRXs, they sell the carbon fiber cover here. But a whole bunch of other parts and pieces. I'll leave a link to their eBay store down below. So anyway, like I said, we're going to be talking about this part right here and then this inner vent. I didn't want to do these parts, even though they do sell this in carbon fiber. I like the silver and red and black contrast, so I wanted to keep that. But I absolutely hate this diamond plate stuff, so it's time to cover that up. So let's take a look at the parts here. So this is the first cap that's going to go on the top of that. And like I said, this is real carbon fiber. You know it's real because you can see the carbon fiber weave pattern on the back of the piece itself. So this is the unfinished side of it. This is the finish. Nice, perfect, glossy finish. Matches my steering wheel perfectly. These parts, like I said, you buy them on eBay. They're custom made, maybe to order for these trucks. But like I said, this is originally made for the TRX, but it does fit my truck because I got the 12-inch screen. It's going to fit right up here. Then, in addition to that top mount, I also purchased the air vent accent pieces. So this just sticks right inside here. So it's going to nicely draw or nicely pull the carbon fiber from my steering wheel into the center console as well, and maybe eventually we'll get over there as well. So let's talk about installation. Super simple. These just tape on, right? That's double-sided tape there. Very thin double-sided tape there. So we'll get to that in a minute. First thing we're going to want to do is clean the whole area. So I went ahead and already cleaned everything with inner clean. Now the next thing we want to do before we actually go to install the product is wipe everything down with isopropyl alcohol. Anytime I'm adhering something to another surface, I always wipe it down with that alcohol just to make sure it's a spotless surface when I go to adhere things. Before we do any of that, I got to get my bullet point solution brackets out of the way so that they're not dangling, because we're going to be installing this cap over the top of the console cover. And again, this is not a replacement cap, so you don't pull off the stock one and then throw this on there. This goes over the top, and it's so thin that it actually looks factory and looks really nice. So let's go ahead, get the bullet point mount out of the way, wipe everything down with isopropyl alcohol, and start installing this guy. All right, so we got our bullet point mount out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe everything down one more time. I got some leftover inner clean on here. Make sure everything's clean. We're gonna wipe down the ledges here. And the air vent ones, they stick on the bottom, the side, and the top. So just make sure you're getting every surface. Really, it all comes down to the isopropyl in the end, but this gives you a first initial clean. So we got that clean. Let's go ahead and get some isopropyl alcohol. I always use a paper towel, so it's not going to leave any sort of lint or anything behind. But we're going to wipe down the top and then each of the vents. Or maybe, you know, we'll start with the top first, go ahead and install that piece, and then I'll come back and do the vents. All right, everything is nice and clean. Isopropyl alcohol is just drying. So the last thing we're going to do before we go to install is just quickly make sure everything fits perfectly, and you could see it fits like stock, and that's just laid on top without the tape backing removed. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and remove all that red tape backing and install. So one of my concerns with this kit, which is why I only purchased, you know, a couple pieces in the beginning, was it's going to be really big and bulky and look like that cheap carbon fiber print stuff that people are buying off of Amazon. But this is a really thin panel itself, and then they use really thin double stick tape on it. So it's super seamless when it goes to install. So let's get the backing removed and go ahead and drop this guy on. Super simple install. All right, so I have the backing completely removed here. Because this stuff's so thin, it's kind of a pain in the butt to remove the backing on the tape, but it is totally doable. Just make sure that any areas that you do end up eventually pulling up, you fix. So last thing we're gonna do is just align it and install it. Like I said, super simple installation. There we go. Part one done. So we'll just keep pushing this down, applying pressure to make sure it all clips into place or adheres onto the panel itself, and then we'll work on the vents next. Let's go ahead and keep working on this until everything sticks nicely. All right, so our top carbon piece is installed and it's looking perfect. So now the next thing we're gonna do, like I said, is wipe down with isopropyl alcohol right inside these little jams, and that's where the second piece is gonna go. Just like the top piece, these got some red backing on there. We're gonna pull that red backing off and just pop this guy right up into place. Wisest thing to do is make sure you test fit these. These are custom made out of a mold carbon fiber panels, so sometimes you need to do a little bit of modification, but I don't need to do it with these things. They fit exactly as I want them to. So let's clean everything off. Let's get the other side, and then we'll start pulling the backing tape off and then rock and roll with the install. All right, just a word of advice when you're installing these. There's a ledge right here, and there's a little bit of a edge on the trim piece itself. This trim piece sits up on top of that ledge. So it does mean you get a little bit of a gap on the bottom, but by all means, you know, that is what it is, and it still looks great. So let me go ahead and get the passenger side one installed, and we'll take a look at the final product. All right, so there you have it. We are fully installed. Center console is done. Again, we did the vent sides, and then we did the top. They also make a piece that does this trim right here, but like I said, I really do like that gray. I like all the contrast going on here, and it matches the centering ring on my steering wheel. So anyway, that's how you install the, I think it's Jogon carbon fiber panels inside your Ram truck. I'll leave a link to the specific parts I use down below, but I'm gonna likely pick up more pieces. They got the door inserts and maybe even the glove box insert for a future project. But they also have the rear here, so they got a rear piece that just like this top dash piece will go right here. So once I replace my vent, and then I'll go ahead and install that one as well. But anyway, that's how you install it. Clean, isopropyl alcohol, peel the backing, install. I'm gonna put some weight on this guy overnight just to make sure everything is situated, but I'll go ahead and install my bullet point solution, and that is another product done. Thank you very much for watching, appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe, any questions, leave it down in the description below. But with that said, thank you very much, bye.